Okay, we're going to have a little bit of a pregame show today. Little bit of a pregame show. And we're going to see if we have the little lockup issue that we had before. We're going to see if we have that. And the audio is good. We've got 3 folks in so far early for the little pregame show. We got a little about a 5 to about a 7 minute, a little less than a 7 minute pregame show, according to those 2 stunners. Stunner alert on the channel. And that's the theme is, hey, life is too short. Why not wear a superlative watch? A superlative watch. Lance is in the house, and he's in here first with a wrench at 4:53 p.m. He says, hello, Craig and all. We don't know who else is in here. There's 4 viewers in here, but 3 have remained silent. They have the right to remain silent. Durr's in the house, and he says we are live. So he's one of the 4. There are 2 more that have chosen to remain silent. And Carlos is one. So now we've got 3 of the 4 that have spoken up. And members of the Wrench Gang. So there you go. And there's that stunning watch roll that the Durster has, that he had custom made. David Williams is in the house. And it's interesting, the viewer count says we have 3 people, but we've got 4 in the chat. So obviously the view count is not correct. There you go. We've got 5 in the chat, and the view count where I'm watching here says, now it went to 5. Now it went to 5. And I like the green shirt, Craig, first time seeing that one. Yeah, I actually went and dug out some oldies but goodies, because it's getting hot. It's getting hot. Today it was 77 degrees here in Maryland. And so I went and dug out 2 or 3 oldies but goodies. You know, with these new fabrics, these stay dry fabrics, these nylon things that, I have them. I have some for golf and stuff like that. But I'll tell you, I just like the old-fashioned polo shirts that are all cotton. They just feel better on me. Now, if you're in a situation where you sweat a lot, you're playing tennis or something, you're really sweating, they're not good because they do get wet and they don't dry. So those stay dry, like Nike shirts and things like that, they do function better for that type of a situation. But if you're not sweating profusely, then I still like these old-fashioned 100% cotton polo shirts. So there you go. Triforce Rich is in the house, and he's saying, absolutely, we got a pregame show going on. And Williams Watches is in the house. And Williams Watches, I've had a credible report that you were misbehaving in some chat or whatever. What we're going to do for now is we're going to remove your moderator status. We just removed that. That's how that works. And if 3 members of the Wrench Gang override my decision and suggest that Williams watches should get his wrench back, then I will reconsider. But I had a credible report that Williams Watches was misbehaving on another channel. And so that's not good. We don't want people that are misbehaviors and trolls to have wrenches. So there we go. We made a Craig, he is completely lying. Uh-oh. No, we have a controversy now. Triforce Rich says, what, William? Has been so classier. What did you do, William? Triforce Rich. Craig, it is not the case in my opinion. Okay, so Carlos, are you vouching for Williams Watches? He says, I can show proof he insulted me first. Williams Watches, this is slander. Okay, well, let's see if 3 members of the Wrench Gang, let's see if 3 members of the Wrench Gang suggest that you be reinstated. I'm a benevolent dictator, and we can reconsider this if we get 3 members. I'm trying to be fair here. we get 3 members of the wrench gang. And Durr says, nope, Williams Watches is toast. Uh-oh, there you go. Controversy on the channel. But here's the theme of this show. This is part 2 of Life is Too Short to Wear Marginal Watches. And this is a little bit directed at Lance because, you know, he's always got a wandering eye. He's always looking at these marginal watches. And so we got to be careful. We got to look out for him. Williams Watches says, I want my wrench back. This is unfair. And he went crying to you after insulting me. Okay, relax. We're taking this under consideration. We're going to see if we can get 3 members of the wrench gang to vouch for you, and then we'll get your wrench back. Triforce Rich says, I'm a reasonable man. Someone explain the situation, and I'll give my vote. Triforce Rich. And Carlos says, yes, I vouch for it. I think it was an unfortunate situation. In fact, at Durr became much nastier than Williams, but he had a reason. Well, I mean, if he had a reason, then there you go. We don't want strife. We don't want strife. And if Williams Watches started the thing, then that's the thing. Now, he's alleging that he didn't start it, that the other party started it. So there you go. We are not anti-police in America. We appreciate our first responders. Okay. Well, I mean, I'm a big supporter of police and so on. But when they become thugs, when they become jackbooted thugs, now then my support wanes. So there you go. All right, let's see. Trevor says, he called me a shitty person. Told me to F off and insulted my mother too. Absolute poor form. Uh-oh. His reason was floored. I don't know what you mean by that. He misunderstood what we were talking about. More than a reason, I would say an excuse. I did not start it, Williams Watches. I am not anti-police. My brother is a policeman, Williams Watches says. Okay, so let's see. You know, I would rather put this whole thing behind us, but I do want to get 3 members of the wrench gang to stand up and vouch for Williams Watches. And I vote that we give Williams Watches another chance if 3 members of the wrench gang stand up for him. And then let's not have these kinds of kerfuffles happen in the future. Let's behave like gentlemen, regardless of what channel you're on. If you're a member of this wrench gang, you should conduct yourselves as gentlemen. Even if you're on a nasty channel that's full of nasty trolls, you don't need to sink to that level. Okay, so there you go. Kevin D was timed out for 300 seconds. Wow, what did he do? Okay, so we already got some mixing up here in the in the early stage of this show. We just went officially live 2 minutes ago. We were in our pre-game show until 2 minutes ago. Come on, guys. I've never been out of order to anyone here. I always keep myself to myself and stay polite. All right, don't worry about it right now. We're taking this matter under consideration. We're going to see what happens. Carlos says, last time I did this thing, it did not end well, but I am friend of both Durr and Williams. Okay, well, Carlos is a nice guy. He's always in the neutral territory. He's like Switzerland. Kevin D just got it. Okay. Okay, if that is the case, that Durr wrench should be removed temporarily too, as much as I love him, but it would be the fair thing. Let's see. And Joey says, what happened? He's laughing. And Triforce Rich says, Durr, you're literally called Arabic terrorist writing on this channel, so you can't stand on your high horse. I like both Durr and William, though, so I think this is stupid, says Triforce Rich. I vouch for him. Okay, so Lewis is vouching for a second chance, and I believe Carlos is vouching for a second chance. Is there a third? Do we have a third? Oh, for crying out loud, my iPad. Thought I was calling for the young lady, the Siri lady, but I wasn't. Let's see. Williams watches, but this is slander. No, it's not. This isn't slander. Nobody slandered you. I hope nobody slandered you. I know I didn't slander you. I'm just acting to try to protect the community. Wrenches on this, when somebody has a wrench, I expect them, like I said, to act like a gentleman. I don't care if they're on some other channel. They should act like a gentleman. And so let's do this. Sorry to hear about it. Don's okay. Don's dad. Okay. Joey Ben says, where's my wrench? He wants a wrench. Thank you, Lance. Man, I miss one day of the other channel, and I miss the cool stuff, says Charles. Durr Williams watches. How is she doing, by the way? No, I don't know what we're talking about here. Let's see. Protect me then, Craig. We're working on it. I'm trying to get a third. I've already got two that are standing up for you, and we're trying to get a third. Durr says Williams wants protection. He's crying. Okay, so Jay Halo says, what do you think of the people who say that I guess he means high-end watches are a scam because you could get a G-Shock for $100, not trolling, just curious? Well, I mean, you buy a high-end watch because you want something of extreme quality and you want something that's exclusive. It's not necessarily because it's a better watch, but in many ways they can be better watches than an inexpensive watch. They can last a lot longer. They can be more accurate, like the spring drive that Grand Seiko makes. They can have attributes that inexpensive watches have trouble duplicating. But the main reason you're buying a high-end watch is because you want something exclusive. You want something of extreme quality. And because they are limited production and exclusive, they tend to go for more money. Now, what Rolex has been able to do is mass produce high-quality watches because of their production capabilities. They've been able to mass produce high-quality watches, and because of their marketing prowess, they've been able to sell those watches at a premium as exclusive luxury items. And so people buy them as a kind of a status symbol, but they're also getting a very good watch. So yeah, that's what you're paying for. Durr has a personal relationship with Craig, so this is a bit biased. Well, no, not real. I've met him in person. I met him at Little Treasury, but I wouldn't say it's a personal relationship. But let's see. Williams watches. What the hell are you going to let him talk about my mother? What are you talking about? I think didn't he just ask how somebody is or something? I don't think he said anything derogatory in this chat. Okay, I'm disgusted. So here, Williams watches. How old are you? You're not acting like an adult here. I told you we were taking this under consideration. All right? We already had 2 people vouch for you. We're looking for a third. And now you're acting like a 13-year-old kid here. If the judge, in this case it's me, is pondering a decision, the most intelligent way for you to proceed is to be very polite and very patient and see what happens. Not throw a tantrum. Wait until I make my final decision. Lance says Williams should get his wrench back. Triforce Rich also, Durr, you troll the crap out of other channels, so come on, man, just man up and shake hands and get over this. Williams watches, try for search. I agree. And this is not classy at all. Okay. A vote for a wrench for William is a vote against America. Okay. Let's see here. I think we're going to have to give him back his wrench. I think you guys have got to get over this, and we're going to keep an eye on this situation, and you guys might just both lose your wrenches if you keep misbehaving. But I'm going to give him back his wrench right now, and you better behave, Williams watches. And we want to be gentlemen on this channel, and we want to bring the right sort of decorum, if possible, to other channels as well. We want to carry ourselves in public as the elite group that we are. Those on this channel, this is a very elite group. Okay? We dress better than the people on the other channels. We have nicer watches. I mean, look at these things. We have nicer watches than the other channels. We're more intelligent than the other channels. We're generally better looking than the other channels. And we have more fun than the other channels. So let's act like it, okay? So let's see. Craig, you're missing comments. I don't know which one I missed. I'm trying to keep up. Okay, I don't know what I missed, but anyway, we are almost all conservative, including myself, but I'm no neoconder. I'm not sure exactly what this is. I'm not highly educated like some of you guys. Kyle's in the house, confused on what's going on, guys. Aren't we all? Maybe we need a report from the West Coast. Maybe that's what we need, is an update from the West Coast. Let me know if you guys can swing that today, because I think that's what we might need, is an update from the West Coast. Joey's in the house. It's every day with mom jokes. Williams watches, but it is a decision that is unjust in the first place. I'm not throwing a tantrum, Craig. I'm just frustrated. Well, just relax. The last thing you want to do is point your frustration at the judge when he's making a decision, okay? You don't want to do that. You just want to remain quiet and let him do his thing. Jay Halo's in the house. I want a high-end watch because I want to be very simple and have one really good watch instead of 5 bad ones. I've gotten tired of just throwing away crap, so instead I buy quality. Exactly. You know what a friend of mine told me many, many years ago? This is going back probably 40 years. And his aunt told him this, and his aunt was a very classy lady. If you buy nice things, you will always have nice things. Simple. Simple as that. If you buy a bunch of junk, then you'll be surrounded with a bunch of junk, right? So I try to live by that. I try to buy quality whenever I can, and I just pass on the things that are lesser qualities. That's why I don't buy any altcoins, right? I just buy Bitcoin. So buy the quality stuff. Now, don't get sold a bill of goods. Don't buy something just because it has some label on it and they claim it's quality. Do your research, right? But buy the real quality stuff, and I think you'll always be happy. Let's see. It says, I was over it a long time ago. Okay, thank you. Okay, Robert Marshall in the house. Thoughts on Pulsar G10 military watch? Can you guys give him some help in the chat? And if you would like to email me a link to a photo or or one for sale on the web, I'd be happy to bring it up here and show it. Just email it to me. My name, CraigShipp@gmail.com, CraigShipp@gmail.com. And I will pull it up and we'll look at it together if you've got one that you're looking at. Some of us here are elite. LOL. Actually, most here are elite. That's the whole point. This is a very elite channel. We've weeded out a lot of the bums. They've been blocked. You should see the list of people that are blocked on this channel. I mean, It's pretty significant. So there you go. High school nonsense is what I expect on Archie's channel, not here. There you go. That's right. We're getting this under control, Lewis. We're getting it under control. Never trust a rat, says Kevin. And Jason's in the house. And Lance says, Archie acts like a child. That's why his channel is so terrible. Well, but sometimes you just have to watch. It's like a train wreck, right? You just can't turn away. You just have to watch the train wreck. So there you go. Jay Halo's in the house. I currently can't afford a real watch, but I'm going to college for a science degree, and I usually like to have a good and classy sense of style. An Apple Watch is always a good choice for something affordable. I mean, relatively affordable. They're still not cheap. But that is definitely a very good option, especially if you're in school. I mean, you can use the functionality of that. I think it can come in handy. So if you have an iPhone, which I highly recommend that over an Android phone, remember we get the best here on this channel, then an iPhone would go nicely with that. Robert's in the house. Jay Halo, get a Seiko 5 Sports. Great starter watch. Carlos says, LOL, Craig is like a Roman emperor. There you go. Carlos, Emperor Craig Nero. There you go. And Carlos is my chief advisor. And, he's the conscience of this channel. And there you go. Triforce Rich, I can call in, show the 007 if you want. Need your Skype. Should I email you? Yes, email me and I will give you the Skype. Absolutely. Jay Halo, just buy a $50 G-Shock and get you through the storm and save until you can get a proper watch. Good point. And I hope like Marcus Aurelius. There you go. And Jay's in the house. Thank you, Robert. I might consider it. I might just get a Hamilton, though, but I'll look into it. Also, try my B at with researching for the best stuff. I mean, I landed here. Okay, there you go. Joey's in the house, and a few are immature. Okay. I already have a G-Shock. I have a G-Shock and a Fossil watch, just not a mechanical watch. Okay. Triforce Rich, good idea to Skype in. Believe you should also have a Milgauss. Yesterday I watched Archie, and Durr's train wreck was startling. Okay. Caligula was a great movie. Kyle in the house. And Jay Halo, save your money until you can get something decent. I agree. A truly robust watch shouldn't. Okay. Thoughts on Seiko Balamatic? I had one. That was my first, quote, real watch back in the early 70s, I think around 1972. I loved it. I did not like the integral bracelet that mine had. That's why I don't like integral bracelets to this day, because it eventually failed and it was a pain in the neck to deal with. And so, no, I will pass on any integral bracelets. But I loved that watch. It was a lot of fun. So let's see. Kyle says, shouldn't break in the jacuzzi. My Apple Watch did. Shouldn't break in the jacuzzi. My Apple Watch did. Well, a recent Apple Watch should be waterproof now. It should work in the water. I know my Series 1 wouldn't. But, yeah, the newest ones should, I think, Kyle. Maybe. Lance is in the house. You should get an Orient Defender as your first mechanical watch. It has a 100-meter and screw-down crown. It's relatively affordable. Triforce Rich, Jason, yes. Would you like me to take it out of the safe? If I wouldn't be, it wouldn't be too much trouble. Okay. I'll grab it. Emailed you. Okay. I'm considering the Milgauss. Okay. All right. Let me check the email here and see if we've got this email. Okay. Here we go. I'm sending him the Skype info right now. Okay. We'll see how this works. Let me get my Skype here. Dun, 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 dun. Remember, we're going to have part 2 with Leah on Monday. Do tune in. Same bat time, same bat channel. And pass on the Milgauss. It's ugly. Yeah, I think there are better options than the Milgauss. The biggest problem I have is they're thicker than they need to be just because of that Faraday cage. I don't really need that, so I wouldn't go for that. But if people need that extra protection from magnetism, then by all means, but I certainly don't need it. Let's take a close-up at the 002. How stunning is that? And how stunning is that deployant clasp also? Stunner alert, folks. Stunner alert. There you go. Okay, let's see. Sent you a photo of a rare GS. All right, let's take a look at that while we're waiting for the Skype call. Take a look at that. Interesting. Kind of chunky looking, kind of not bad, not terrible. It's an interesting, definitely a different strap. A different bracelet, I mean. Yeah, it's interesting. I don't like the pre-2017 Grand Seikos with the Seiko at the top and the Grand Seiko at the bottom. It just makes it busier than it needs to be. I much prefer the Grand Seiko at the top, like it is on these stunners here. So yeah, that would not be one for me, but it's not bad. It's a cool, different kind of thing. Different kind of thing, for sure. So let's see here. Okay, let's see what else we got going on here. Thomas says the Milgauss is a winner. The Z Blue is probably my favorite watch. Absolutely beautiful. If you like a thick watch, you can go for it. Carlos is in the house. Remember to consider joining Frank Masonry to manage your spare time in a productive way. Okay. And let's see. Thomas says hello to Carlos. Another sip of H2O while we're waiting for this call in. By the way, every time I wear the 002, I am more and more amazed as to how comfortable it is on wrist. More and more amazed. Oh, by the way, while we're waiting, I'm going to go ahead and wind this. Look how easy it is to use this deployant buckle. And I was told I should take it off to wind it, so okay, I'll do that. So I'm going to wind it up while we're waiting here. And let me know, what do you guys think about winding it all the way to the stop? Do you think that that does any harm to it? Do you think I should stop a little bit before the stop? That's what I've been doing lately, but that time I just went right to the stop. So it is, looking at the power reserve, it is pinned. It is fully reserved. Oh, let me answer this call. Answer this call. All right. Stand by. Let me make you full screen. And if you could rotate the camera horizontal. There we go. Perfect. Perfect. Can you hear me okay?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Perfect. Got a good quality picture. Let me get this watch back on my wrist here. Man, that's a nice looking setting you've got there.
Thank you.
Cool setting. And what do you have to show us?
Okay, so I took out the collection, I guess. Jason wanted to see the Milgauss. I've got the, where is the camera here? I've got the 007 you wanted to see. I was able to catch my dad real quick and grab it for him.
Stunner. It's kind of, can you,
I've got the Milgauss and I took out my Pepsi as well.
Can you hold the 007 down and like kind of point the camera down on it to see? Maybe we can try to get that blue to pop a little bit. It's just a little bit of a different angle. And now you're kind of.
Okay, let's see if I can flip the camera here. Yeah. I don't know how. Oh. Here. Can you see it?
Okay, yeah, now we can see it. And
okay.
Yeah, we can definitely see the red hand, the second hand,
Let me get
But
it in some sunlight for you so you
y-
can see that pop.
yeah,
I don't think you'll be able to see
yeah,
the 2020,
yeah.
but
It's kind of
there you go.
hard to get that blue to pop. But yeah, no, we can see some of it there, some of it. But I'll tell you, in person, it really pops, doesn't it? There, yeah, I saw a little bit of it there.
Oh yeah, I've never seen a blue like this. And then you can see the subtle 2020, and then inside it's basically a dark navy blue, almost black. So you can come over
Yeah,
here and you can just see how much it changes right there.
yeah.
Um,
It's very similar
so
to my 005, but oh, that looks stunning right there. We can pick up the gold. See if you can tap on the screen and get it to focus on the dial.
okay.
If you tap
You
on
know
the
what?
phone.
It's using the front camera right now. I don't know how to switch it. If you know, I'm on an iPhone,
Oh,
so
okay. I got you. Okay.
but so it's not going to zoom in and focus. But that's basically what we have there.
Yep.
And then we have the Milgauss over here. If anyone
Okay.
wants to, I can't see the chat right now. So if
Now
anyone wants to,
let me see the side view of that. Compare the thickness of that. Put it on the side,
sure.
and let me see how the Milgauss stacks up
It's going to be
thickness.
a significant difference there. Can you see that?
Oh yeah, so that's a GMT next to it, right?
This is my Rolex GMT, so I can put
Okay.
all three
Yep.
together,
Yep.
and then you can kind of see it.
Yep. Good. Perfect.
Um,
That's good. Okay.
so you can see it there. Oh, there it goes. But yeah, and we're putting it on the crown here, and they're not going to get destroyed. There's that.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's fine.
Um, so yeah,
Okay.
you can kind of see the
Yeah.
side profile
Slowly.
there.
Yeah. Slowly show us the profiles there. Okay. So we've got the. So that's the. Is that the Rolex there, or that's the Grand Seiko, right?
The one to the left is the Grand Seiko,
Okay.
and
Good.
then
And then
coming in, you
there's
should be seeing the Milgauss.
there's the Milgauss,
Um,
absolutely. And then there's.
and then you can see the GMT there.
And I'll tell you, you can clearly see the GMT is definitely significantly trimmer than the Milgauss. At least it
And
appears.
you know what's funny, Craig? It's half a millimeter difference, but it looks like it's like 2 millimeters thicker. But I measured it; it's half a millimeter difference. You know what it is? It's so with the GMT, what they do is they have a step case. So
Hmm.
there's kind of layers to the case, and then the Milgauss, if you can see here, is basically just one thick block. So it appears way bigger, even though it's not.
But see, having
So
that stepped case will also help it go underneath a shirt cuff easier because it's more gradual. It's a bump,
I have
right?
never had a problem wearing my GMT with the suit. The Milgauss with the tightest cuffs might cause a bit of an issue, but I
Hmm.
get my shirts tailored,
Hmm.
and I usually get them tailored to the Milgauss, so it's not an issue. And
Gotcha.
then the Grand Seiko isn't my watch, so I can't speak on
Hmm.
that, but it is so trim that I cannot imagine it being an issue on any suit. I mean, it's 10.8 millimeters thick, so you'll
Exactly.
be good. You'll be perfect there. Um, but yeah, and then on wrist, I don't know if you can see that,
Yeah.
G-Shock.
Oh yeah. 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 Yeah.
So
So
there you
now,
go.
are you like do you wear the same size as your dad?
No, so
No.
I could
Okay.
try it on. So I have a 6.5 inch wrist, and I guess he had a 7 inch flat wrist. So it's a completely different size. I can put on the Grand Seiko if you want to see it.
It would definitely fit loose on you.
Yeah, I mean, I can put it on here if you give me this back. You can see. But definitely be loose.
And he definitely wouldn't be able to wear your watches. So you guys can't do any trading off because your watch would probably be
Uh,
too tight on him. I'm
well,
guessing.
back sub, he could wear my sub if he wanted to because of the glide lock, and then the Milk House, he can kind of wear it if he wants to. If I use the extension,
Oh, okay.
it'll fit super tight on his wrist.
Okay.
And then the GMT is a no-fly zone.
Okay.
But here, I'll put on the Grand Seiko for you.
You have some nice pieces, I'll tell you what. Now
There you go.
cool. Oh man, that looks
Very
stunning.
loose on my wrist.
Yeah, but I'll tell you, it
My
looks
time.
good. It looks good
Yeah,
on
no, it's
wrist.
I think the lug to lug is 46 or 47.
Hmm.
Any male can wear it, even the guy with small wrists. I'm about 6 feet tall, 170,
Hmm.
so a little bigger than the average guy, but I think it'll look good on anyone. Literally, that watch it's stunning. I'm jealous of him. So,
Yeah,
uh,
and that he'll literally be able to wear it for the rest of his life without really doing anything but changing the battery every 3 years.
I'll tell you, Craig, I think he's put more wear on this watch for I don't know how long it's been, maybe 2 weeks that he's had it, than I've ever seen a watch before. He wears it like it's his second skin. He sleeps with it. He does everything with it. So that's why I got the 9F, because I knew that the way he treats his watches, if I went with some, off-brand automatic or pretty much anything besides a Rolex, and he doesn't like Rolex, so it wouldn't work. So you want reliability, you get a 9F movement.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that thing's and it's stunning. I mean, it's stunning, and it's so trim on wrist, like you said. I mean, it's even thinner than my 005. My 005 is about 12 mils, and that one you said is 10 point something?
10.8, I believe.
Wow.
I'd say it even wears smaller than that. And to be honest with you, it's sliding under so I usually watch your streams and I work out. So I'm in my Lululemon gear, and it has really tight cuffs. It's kind of one of those tighter workout outfits, and it's sliding under my cuff naturally. If you can see there, it wants to go under that. So, any business formal setting, I assure you, you can wear that, and it's
non-issue. Okay, so where are you located?
SoCal,
Southern California. Okay,
yeah.
San Diego area or
up north.
Okay.
So so pretty beautiful day. It's about 80 degrees. Could be a little cooler, but
so you're not too far from Kyle.
Not at all. Kyle's like 40 minutes from me.
Okay, there you go.
Yeah, he's in LA. I'm south, but yeah, not far at all.
Yeah. Cool. Well, hey, anything else you'd like to share before I let you go?
I guess I'll show off the Milgauss because Jason wanted to see it. He can see it on wrist and everything, and make his own opinion.
Now, are you thinking about selling your Milgauss?
I'll be honest with you, Craig. I will sell it maybe if I buy the date, but that's a big maybe. I don't need the money, so it's not like a desperation situation. But
that would be a nice mix.
Discontinued before I would consider
that would be a nice mix
you
for you to have the date and rotation with the GMT.
Yeah, I think that's the perfect mix. I think that's the throwback CraigShipp, I'll call it, right?
There you go.
But yeah, so there's the Milgauss. You can see it. It's 40 millimeters, but you can definitely see, in my opinion, it's much heavier than the Grand Seiko and definitely heavier than the GMT. But you get used to it, and it is a little on the thicker side. You can see it's not sliding under that cuff easily at all.
And that weight is probably because of that Faraday cage that's built in there also, that extra protection.
It weighs more. So I'll tell you this. I had the Submariner. It weighs more than the Submariner by a smidgen, but it feels actually a lot heavier because the Submariner has the glide lock, which is heavy. So it balances out the weight.
Yeah.
But this doesn't have a glide lock. It has the Easy Link extension. And it doesn't balance out the weight. So it feels a lot more top heavy. And it's not as comfortable.
Gotcha.
I mean, anyone who wants a Milgauss, I'll tell them this. You buy it because you love the way it looks. You love the aesthetics. You love the uniqueness. You don't buy it because it's the most functional and, best proportioned watch in the world. It's not.
Gotcha.
This Grand Seiko, I was just wearing it for a few minutes now, and I'll tell you what, Craig, that thing's pretty damn comfortable.
Well, yeah, and I mean that's the thing. I mean, to me it's really important. They are wrist watches. I mean, how they feel on wrist is one of the most important things to me. Because
this watch right here, that's my favorite watch of all time. It always will be. And I'll tell you what, it converted me. Everything you were saying is kind of true. It's funny how that works sometimes, where you don't believe it until you try it. These old Rolex bracelets, they feel kind of cheap and chintzy when you're just like doing that with it and shaking it around. But on wrist, the quality is fantastic. I've never had the clasp open on me, and it's so light and comfortable. If you're actually doing sports with these watches and you're using it for their intended purpose, like that's a watch I actually want to use. I've done everything you can imagine with a Submariner, the modern Submariner, sports-wise, and frankly, it works. It's amazing, but it doesn't feel like it doesn't blend into your wrist. It's not the old Rolex.
Yeah, it's not a pleasure to wear. You can tell that you've got a clunky thing on your wrist. I know exactly.
I'll tell you
what
what.
you mean.
If I was climbing, I'm a pretty active guy, pretty fit guy. If I was climbing a mountain, I've never climbed Everest, don't plan to, but I do hike, and I do hike quite, up high. I'd want a 36 millimeter Explorer because it doesn't feel like anything. So if I'm going to go 50 miles uphill, you know what I mean? You want to watch like that.
Oh yeah, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Now, what year do you think your GMT was made?
It's actually the first batch production of the no holes case. So I think it's between 2002 2003. I have the papers for it. I don't remember it on top of my head.
Okay.
So
so it does have solid end links on the bracelet, right?
It does have solid end links, which
Okay.
is a huge bonus. That
Yeah.
adds a little weight and it makes it look a little bigger. But honestly, you would know better than me, Craig. You've had the experience. I wouldn't want a hollow end link bracelet. Those things are like, they sag off your wrist. I've tried vintage Rolex, like old 4 digits.
Yeah,
and,
yeah.
they're cool, but functionally, it's not for me.
It's nice to have the solid end links. It definitely is. But I mean, we wore them for years without them as well, and they worked. I mean, you just had to keep that tight, that end link tight.
That's what I tell people, though. People who are obsessed with like the jewelry weight feeling of the modern Rolex, I tell them, my GMT, it's not quite 20 years old, and that thing is bulletproof. And so, you have to. Are we going about function? Is this a sports watch or is this a jewelry watch where we want to like take it off our wrist and show people, oh, look, it weighs like a pound?
Exactly.
Or do we want something that actually is just comfortable? So
exactly.
I'm with you on that.
Yeah, you've got a super functional watch that will last you your lifetime. You might have to have it serviced one time maybe, and then keep on
it's
going.
It's gaining plus 2 seconds a day right now, and so
that's fine.
And I'm with you when it comes to Rolex. Why would you service it? Because it's Rolex is not exactly a flat rate cost, but it's about a flat rate, and so it's going to cost you $100 or $200 extra dollars to do a service.
They used to. Now I don't know what they're doing now, but I'll tell you, Grand Seiko is still flat rate, and Rolex used to be flat rate. In other words, they used to quote you the price before they even totally disassembled it. They already quoted you the price.
Yeah.
So I don't know what they're doing now.
Rolex now is pretty much flat rate, but I'll tell you this, Craig. So if you go into Rolex and you want to get a service done, basically what's going to happen is it's going to be about a flat rate, and then if they have to replace the crown or the stem or something, this is going to be like a $50 charge or something.
Yeah.
It's very, very small.
If you replace the hands or the dial those are always extra costs.
So the people who are getting scammed are these people who are getting services every 5 years, paying like the $700, $800 flat rate, when you could wait an extra 5-10 years to get it serviced and pay an extra $200 for the extra replacement parts, and you're saving, you're pocketing $600, $700, $800.
Or when they tell you that they've got to replace the whatever, you don't have to replace it. You don't have to replace the stem if you don't want to, but I would do it, right? I would do it, but that's a whole separate thing. I'm talking about the movement itself and the parts and the movement itself. Typically, they don't charge anything extra for those little gears and little things that might wear.
No, that's part of the service.
They just replace them. They just replace them. Yeah. And that's why
if I ever go with Rolex, basically for me, it's just you can't replace the bezel, you can't replace my dial or hands. Everything else, you know what I mean? It has to function, right? If they have to replace the crown, they have to replace the crown. You know what I mean? I need
you want it to be pressure. You want it to be pressure proof.
Pressure-proof, the seals and stuff like that, because I do go swimming with my watches.
Absolutely.
So that is important to me. But
absolutely.
Aside from that, look, these are watches, them, you enjoy them. They're not. I'm not buying the GMT and wearing it, once a year on special occasions. I wear it, 5 days out of the week. So
absolutely, and it's a stunner. All right. Well, thank you for calling in. Anything else to add before we let you go?
No, I just enjoyed the show. I really appreciate it, Craig. I think we all do because, honestly, the situation that we're in, we have extra time on our hands, and I wish I could be going out and making moves, but it's just not possible. And your show, makes me smile every day. It's like, I have an hour or two every day to just hang out, and so I appreciate it.
Cool. Well, we'll keep it going as long as we can. Thanks for calling in. And you're
absolutely.
You're always welcome. You're always welcome to call in and give us an update. We always like updates from the West Coast. We like to know what's going on over there.
I can be your southern reporter over here. But sure.
There we go.
Appreciate it, Craig.
Thanks. Take care.
You
All
too.
right,
Bye.
there we go. Live call-in to the show. Live call-in to the show. And let me double check here to make sure that we're not missing anything on the email. Okay. All right. Yep. I think we're good. Okay. Good report from the West Coast. Rich calling in. And let me catch up on the chat here. See if I missed anything important. And Tom says, who is this on the call? I hope you figured that out by now. And let's see. See what else we got going on in here. Make sure I didn't miss anything. The GMT is a pre-maxi case. Yes, it is. That one is. Yes, that's a goodie. That's a goodie. Okay. All right. I don't think I can. I'm just going through here. Try looks like Freddie Mercury. Let's see. I'm sticking with drinking Cabernet Sauvignon. Okay. Bark and Jack is London Metro on his own planet. I'm not sure what that's all about. I'm having some. Okay. He lives near Glasgow, Scotland. Okay, is Triforce Rich part of the T-Birds? He might be trying to take Sandra D from Danny. There you go. Triforce Rich has some nice timepieces. We know that. Let's see. J Halo, my wrist size is 7 inches, but it's skinny and looks like 6. I measured my wrist multiple times. It's 7 inches. Okay, there you go. Well, if your arm's longer, then the wrist will look smaller. But yeah, just an optical illusion. An optical delusion, as we call it. Okay, Lance is in the house. Bark and Jack pretty much only reviews Rolex. If he featured more watch brand, his channel would have more subscribers. I think he's got a lot of subscribers already, doesn't he? Wolf and Puke, I mean, Bark and Jack is boring. Loengart like Vermont, okay. Martin Ryder, but I will only like their chronographs. Craig is always trying to get people to sell their watches. Well, especially when they have a Milgauss. My gosh, he's got a GMT. What the hell? He doesn't need the Milgauss. Jettison the Milgauss. If he can get a good price for it, don't be in a hurry. Don't give it away. But if he can get out of it and get a good price, I would definitely get out of it and set that money aside and start piling some more money on it until you get enough to get the mint condition 18238 or whatever day date he wants, and then call it a day. Then just rotate that day date with the GMT and call it a day. Let's see. Triforce Rich, thanks for pulling out the Milgauss. Looking to get a Rolex. I have a Seamaster black dial, so I would like to get a Rolex with some blue. Looking at the GMT or Milgauss Z Blue. Jason in the house. That Z Blue is a special piece. Carlos in the house. Tom says hi, Craig and all. Tom is in early. It's early in the morning where he's at, I believe. And by the way, it's going to be interesting to see if this thing continues to stream past the 45-minute mark. That's where we've had the problems, is about 45 minutes, and we're about there right now because we started early. So we're about in the danger zone right now. So this broadcast could get cut off at any moment. So please get your questions and comments in now, just in case we get cut off. But I'm keeping my fingers crossed and hoping we don't. Let's see. If one must get a Milgauss, the Z Blue is the only option. Durr in the house. Don't really like the polished mid-links on the new Rolex Oyster bracelet. The true Oyster's all brushed. Well, they don't all have the polished center links. Only some of the higher-end models do. So some of them are still brushed. So I agree with you, though. I'm not a fan of the polished center links, although on a Yacht Master, I would take it just because the Yacht Master is so stunning. I would go for it, and I would live with the polished center links. Okay, and Carlos is answering that question. He says that, Lance, it depends on the watch. Explorers and subs have all brushed. There you go. You guys behaving in Craig's house. Oh, come on. Let's not get them stirred up again, Tom. Let's not get them stirred up. Let's see. Durr says, I'm always behaving in here. Okay, Lance is in the house. I'm talking about the ones on the Milgauss, Datejust, and Oyster Perpetual. Exactly, yeah. Williams Watches, Austin, I've been polite as always. There you go. Good job. Tom, let's see. Who's this on the call? I think you've figured that out by now, Tom. Hopefully you figured that out. Let's see. Carlos, yes, Lance, but it is part of the design. I think it's great to have PCL, Datejust, OP, and Daytona. Not so sure about the Milgauss. This is Triforce Rich on screen. There you go. Durr provided the information. And let's see. Okay, and then Tom Austin, at least on this channel, I don't know about other ones. Jason M, just service the watch when it needs it. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. And Tom Austin says that, Lance, have you emailed Craig any watch yet today? That's a highlight of the show for me. Yes, you're going to have to go back and rewatch. He did send one in, and I'll leave it as a cliffhanger. Again, remember that the theme of this show and the last show that was part 1 is life is too short to not wear a stunner. A stunner. You know, I did about, 6 months? I'd sold my gold Grand Seiko stunner, the smaller one that I had. Remember the smaller one I had? I sold that to a subscriber, and I did not have a gold stunner for a period of time. You know, maybe 6 months. How long was it? I don't remember how long it was. But I didn't have a gold stunner. And I've had a couple of times in the last 40 years where I was between gold stunners, where I sold a date 8 or something, and I didn't get another one right away, and I didn't have a gold stunner, and usually no more than 5-6 months would elapse, and then I would end up with another gold stunner. It's not good to not have a gold stunner. So Greg Good is in the house. Good to see him. I think he's got some gold stunners, but Greg, take a look at this 002. Take a look at that. Take a look at that stunner on wrist. And look how trim that is. Look how it hugs the wrist. Look how those lugs hug everything. And look at the beautiful deployant clasp. That's got Greg Good's name all over it. Steve at Little Treasury has one more. He's got 2 in stock. Here's one on my wrist. And then he's got one more in stock, ready to go if somebody wants an 002 stunner. Life is too short to not have a gold stunner. That's what I say. Lance has been a great addition for the channel. He gave us a meaning. Lance says thanks. That means a lot. And Greg Good, great good sense. I don't know who the guest is, but I totally agree on the importance of comfort and wearability of the older, thinner, lighter Rolex bracelets. Greg bringing some real good sense into the discussion as well. He's a man that wears his stunners. He wears some stunners. Absolutely. And Carlos says thank you. And Triforce Rich, get the Tom Cruise comments a lot, but I don't fly despite the aviators or GMT. I'm a poser. Trevor Search, grow the mustache out. And Tom says, I thought Try would be older. There you go. And Try's laughing at that. I did a month ago. I was Freddie's brother. Jason M. Triforce, thanks for your input on the Milgauss. Wear it in good health in beautiful California. Jason M. in the house. And Triforce Rich says, no problem. And Tom, hey, Craig, sent you an email of a nice diver I spent some time with. I know you only like to stick to a few brands. Oh, we'll take a look. We'll take a look. I don't see it. Oh, here it is. Finally got it. A Glashütte. Glashütte. I believe Steve carries Glashütte. I think it's kind of cool. I like the hands are very legible. It's those numbers as the indices. They look like they're not quite as legible as I would want. And the way the date is stuck there at the 4 o'clock, I'm not so sure about that. That's kind of funky looking. Personally, I think that watch would look a lot better with no date and with just hash marks all the way around without the numbers. Maybe a 12 and a 6, but I'd get rid of the 8. I think the 8 looks kind of funky, and the 2 and the 10. I'd probably get rid of those and just put hash marks there and just have the 12 and the 6 maybe, if I really wanted to have numbers somewhere. I just think it looks a little unbalanced, but not terrible. Not terrible. Let's see here. Triforce Rich, have you tried the newer version of the GMT, either Oyster or Jubilee? That'll be good feedback to get. Lewis sent you an email of my 005 on a leather strap. I don't see it. Let me go look and see if it's here now. Maybe you didn't send it to the correct email. Maybe you need to double check that email address. It's my name, CraigShipp@gmail.com. CraigShipp@gmail.com. Let's see here. Jason, both. And they are very nice. The new Pepsi is great, but I like the older better. I recommend the Batman or the new Pepsi. The Batgirl is fine as well if you love the Jubilee. Yes, I like the Jubilee on a GMT. I really do. Cheetown's in the house. Greetings, shipping company. Absolutely. Tom's in the house, and there you go. Some greetings back and forth. Have you read about the company in South Dakota that might solve the COVID issue? How are they going to solve it? Do tell. I haven't read about that. Do tell how they're going to solve it. And look at what Sorrento Therapeutics did yesterday. Okay. Carlos, did they find a vaccine? Maybe Carlos will give us some more information. Triforce Rich, does the latest version of GMT sit better on the wrist than the Milgauss? P.S. I have a 6.5-inch flat wrist. I would think there'd be no doubt that the GMT would sit better on the wrist than the Milgauss. I would say there'd be no doubt in that. Carlos, it seems they find the right antibody yesterday. Shares were up 160%. Well, there you go. I hope you got in on that, Carlos. Craig, liquidity matters. None in that stunner. No. We don't buy our watches to sell. We don't buy our watches to, pawn them. This whole thing going around, this meme. Oh, well, you can always sell your Rolex to get a plane ticket to get back home when you're in trouble or what. I carry cash for that. I use cash for that, you know. And by the way, if they're going to rob you of your cash, they're also going to rob you of your Rolex. I hate to be the one to break the news to you. It's easier to hide the cash on your body than it is the Rolex. You know, I can have a concealed money belt and hide that a little easier than I can hide my Rolex. So, yeah, that is a ill-advised strategy to use your watch as a store of value for an emergency. That's what we use cash for, like what we call an emergency fund. That's called cash. So there you go. And if you want liquidity, buy a Bitcoin. It's pretty liquid. Carlos, I will do. Watches are not liquid, by the way. They're very illiquid. Just ask anybody who tries to sell one. It ain't easy. Let's see. Try for switch. Have you ever replaced the bezel insert on your Gmt Master? Jason, no. The 16710 is definitely better for smaller wrist. It's the best wearing watch for my 6.5-inch wrist. There you go. Try for switch. Lance, I have all three bezels and no. David Smith says, Craig, what do you think of the blue Datejust 41 with the fluted bezel as an all-arounder? Personally, I think the Datejust 41 looks a little big on wrist. I just never really liked the look of it. So for me, personally, a 7.25-inch wrist to maybe upwards to 7.5 in the hot, humid for a wrist that size range, for me, I would stick with a 36 mil Datejust. That's where I would go. But, you know, if you have a bigger wrist and you like that bigger size, then I think absolutely the Datejust 41 could be an all-arounder. I mean, it's nice and thin, so it would fit underneath, you know, the dress cuffs. So, yeah, I mean, but that would be my decision, would be between the two. I would try them both on and really look hard and really figure on which one you like. Remember, this watch that I have on wrist right now is 38.5 mils. You go up to 41 mil, it's significantly bigger. Like I had the Snowflake, it was 41 mil, and it just seemed a little big for me for an all-arounder. For a sport watch like that diver there, I don't mind that being a big watch. That's a sport watch. It's not meant to be anything but a sport watch. It's certainly not an all-arounder, not by any stretch of the imagination. And so I don't mind that being a big hulking watch, right? And I think it looks good, and it's, you know, in its use case, right? But that one next to it, the 005 next to it, that's 38.5 mils and only about 12 mils thick, that is the perfect all-arounder size, in my opinion. Not 41 mil. I think you're getting a little bit too big for an all-arounder. And see this one, 38.5 mils. That's a pretty good size for an all-arounder, I think. So there you go. I love that watch having the big date. Okay. Got to go, guys. Jason's taken off. Let's see. The big date on the SEAQ is what really sets it apart from every other diver. There you go. But I've gotten so I don't really need a date on my watch anymore. Of course, my eyes aren't that great, so there's that. But yeah, I guess if I was younger, maybe I'd want the date on there. So there's that too. Let's see. It's great quality, though. I would send something different into the show. Okay. The Jubilee has to be one of the most comfy bracelets ever made, in my opinion. Yeah, the Jubilee is amazing. I have not read about that company. And here's the thing. This strap that's on this watch right now is even more comfortable than any Jubilee I've ever had. And I had GMTs with Jubilees. My first Datejust had a Jubilee, and they were all very comfortable. My Day 8 with the President bracelet, that bracelet's very comfortable. The President bracelet, equal, in my opinion, to the Jubilee as far as comfort. This trumps all of them. This is more comfortable than all of them. It's amazing. I've been shocked wearing this, how comfortable it is on wrist. So there you go. If you need a date on a diver, you've probably been down there too long, Mighty Rat. You can wear divers out of the water too, Rat, says Tom. And Craig is balling with the big bucks in the gold stunner money clip. Well, I'll tell you what. I mean, if I'm going to be out and about traveling around, I'm going to have some cash. Hell yeah, I'm going to have some cash. Because, you know, emergencies come up, and also opportunities come up. Opportunities come up. Look at that piece. That's a nice looking piece. I could get behind that piece. I like the lugs. They still look like they're kind of stuck on the case a little bit, but I like the shape of the lugs. That's very interesting. That's a very attractive watch. Wonder what the size of it is. Okay, let's go ahead and look at this other picture. Oh, excuse me. That's rude to be yawning. I should have switched to those while I'm yawning. See, I'm getting better at this. Here you go. Oh, interesting. I got these 3 days ago. I got these pictures. I think we showed these pictures 3 days ago. And the email I just got doesn't have anything new on it. So there you go. There's the 005 on a black strap. I guess is that a black strap there, or is it a dark blue? That's just a stunning watch. I have to say, the 005 is a stunner. And notice how mine looks like it's got a black dial there. And compare that to this one in the light with that blue popping out. When that blue pops out, it's just absolutely stunning. It looks even good though when it's black. It's an amazing piece. An amazing piece. Of course, I wouldn't have bought it if it wasn't. I'm pretty picky about stuff like that. Cheetown's in the house. Craig, I can think of one person who uses the Milgauss as a true heavy use watch. He's a professor in chemistry who works with powerful rare earth magnets. Hodinkee had a video about him. There you go. Well, hopefully it's done its job. It's kept that magnetism away from that movement. And Louis R says, I sent it again. Okay, hopefully I just showed it. So let's see here. J Halo, also the fact that not everyone wants a watch. More people want gold and cash. It may be a decent concept, but it won't work. J Halo in the house. Durr says, I think they should make the date just in 39 mil. 41 is pretty big for that style of piece. I agree. 39 would be ideal. 38.5 mils, 39 would be ideal. No doubt in my mind. Carlos, should I wear Milgauss while I solve a Rubik's Cube with 50 rare earth magnets? There you go. Try for switch, wear it while building gunpula. Okay, that thing, yeah. You don't want the advanced Japanese robotic parts to magnetize you. Jaden retracted a message. Williams Watches, I have a gold money clip too, but I don't like using it as your money always curls up at the corners of the notes and looks unsightly. Williams Watches, well, you can iron your money. It's just cotton. Some people that are real, perfectionists, right, have their money ironed every morning. They have their staff, iron out their money and then put it back in the money clip. That's how that works. Mine's in pretty good shape. Let's check that. Let's check that theory. Dun, 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 dun. All right, see, mine's in pretty good shape. And this money's been in my pocket for months and months. I almost never use cash. So here you go. It's in pretty good shape. It's not really that dog-eared or anything. Okay. All right, so just in case, let's see how much we carry for emergencies, right? Okay. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, just 400, 20, 40, 60, 80, And so a little bit less than 500 in cash. There you go. And I have a little bit of extra stuck in my wallet for emergency. So that's it. You can carry $400 or $500, something like that. You should be okay for most on the street emergency situations. I don't recommend you carry 2,000 or 3,000 in your pocket. Now that I would not recommend, but several hundred, absolutely. All right. All right, so we have been live now for over an hour, like about an hour and 10 minutes. So I am happy. I feel like we might have solved the issue. It might have been an issue with YouTube. I might have solved it by logging off and logging back onto my account with the Video Pro. Or who knows? Who knows? But there you go. Jaden nailed it. 38 mil would be perfection. Dur, I agree. The 36 is a classic, but would be considered small by today's standards. 39 mil is good. Lance, remember, today's standards are not a good set of standards to go by. A lot of people these days have very poor taste. So I think it would be better for you to rewind and go back about 30 or 40 years and see what the standards were. And here's the thing about standards like this, fashion and all this kind of stuff. Here's the thing. Take a note on this. Every generation, they try to rebel, and they do stupid stuff to try to rebel, right? Like the last 10 years or so, it's been the tattoo thing. Everybody wants to get tattoos, right? Now that's gone through stages, like they go in and out of fashion. Sometimes tattoos, and they're really in fashion like the last 10 years. I mean, it's been insane, right? And I've seen it in the past, but not to this extent. So, and then, you know, in the 70s, they had like the funky hair, and they had like bell-bottom jeans and all kinds of stupid things that the youngsters do, right? And here's the thing. You can always tell if it makes sense, if whatever it is that they did, if that stands the test of time. Okay? Like, for example, a Rolex Submariner. That has stood the test of time. Now, of course, they've screwed it up recently with the Super case, but that's a whole other subject. But basically, they've stood the test of time, right? Most of these Rolexes. And you could make an argument that things like a polo shirt like I'm wearing now has kind of stood the test of time, right? This shirt is probably 25 years old at least. So anything that is the latest fashion and it looks funky and it seems stupid, then it's probably not going to last. It's probably not going to last. It's not going to stand the test of time. So I like to buy things that are probably going to stand the test of time because they're good looking, they're classy, they're functional, they're whatever, they're all these things. And I'm not going to go for the trendy thing that is silly and doesn't make sense. Just like all these people going around wearing masks now, they look goofy, right? I'm only going to wear a mask when I absolutely have to. Like if Costco requires me to wear it when I go in there and buy some things, I'll put the silly little mask on. I got a real lightweight one that's relatively comfortable. And I'll put it on just while I do that, and then it's immediately coming off, right? It's the most ridiculous thing man ever came up with, wearing these silly masks. So these silly fads and things, they will pass, and they will not stand the test of time. And we will move on. So there you go. Craig, how is the accuracy of the Gold Stunner so far? It's running faster than my 231. It's definitely running faster than my 231. But we will know more after a couple of weeks. I think it's about 4 seconds fast right now. And I think, didn't we set it about 2 weeks ago? I know I set it and then I had to take some pictures of it, so I had to reset it. But I think that was about 2 weeks ago. So I think it has gained about 4 seconds in 2 weeks. So it looks like it's going to be about 8 seconds fast a month. And the specs call it for 15 seconds a month. So it looks like this is going to be more like, in spec, whereas the 231 is just insanely accurate. It's way better than the specs call for. I mean, it's just insane. So, but still, that's fine. If it ends up 8 seconds fast a month, with a dress watch, I can certainly live with that. And, it's easy enough to just pull it out and stop it for a few seconds and push it back in. So that, it doesn't even have a screw down crown. So it'd be a piece of cake to do that. So, and again, the thing that would really upset me is if it was running slow. And apparently it appears it is not. It's definitely running fast. And like I say, about 4 seconds plus so far. So that's the update on that. The old IWC logo is nice. That gold piece looks really, really small. Which one? The one I just showed? That IWC? Tom, let's see. Good point. Tom, okay. IWC is way better than the modern for sure. Agreed, looks quite classy. Are you wrenching yourself, Lance? Craig, that IWC I sent you was 35 mil. Yeah, okay, so that's kind of small. I'm confused. What do you mean? Okay, a mil gauge on each wrist for solving a Rubik's Cube. Who needs a gold money clip when you can use stretched out president bracelet to put your money in between? Uh-oh, Triforce Rich. Lewis says, leave it to me to miss the show where you showed my pictures 3 days ago. Lance, it's okay. Just see some of your messages get deleted. Okay, gold and green. I would need that for mega. Okay. Okay. How many services like the last one can you hire with that money? How many services? Not sure what that means. Okay, Durr. Craig, do you just keep $100 bills in the money clip, or do you break it down in smaller denominations as well? I just showed you. There were a bunch of 20s in there, and there were 10 and some 5s or whatever. There, I always have a mix of, you got to have some smaller bills so that if you have to pay for something smaller, I always have 20s because that's what I pay if I get my hair cut. I always hand them a $20 bill, so I always have those. And then usually a 10 and a 5, and maybe a couple of 1s, something like that. And then the rest 100s. Yeah, that's how I do it. I can keep 20 or 30 bills in that money clip with no problem without stretching it out or anything. It's very robust. It's very solid. I love that money clip. They did a hell of a job making that money clip for me. Triforce Switch, we need to go for another hour. My workout got delayed due to the call-in. I can imagine your eyes, your maid dress didn't help too. Okay. Durr, agreed. We need to go for at least another hour. I haven't even poured my first drink yet. No, we're going to wrap here pretty soon. I hate to break the news to you, but I am hungry. Triforce Rich, Durr, did William leave? I was going to sing We Are Champions for him. J Halo, big watches other than sport or diver like a Rolex or Omega, no. Let's not bring that back. Oh, I agree. I don't think the big watch thing was ever in. I think it was just a tangent. I think it was an anomaly. Steve's in the house. Evening, Craig. After a hard week's work back in my tent in field in Hampshire, England. There you go. Steve in the house. And Williams Watches says, crack on, buddy. I'm still here. Okay, Lance is in the house. You like Freddie Mercury and BJ Novak combined. Okay. Durr, Triforce Rich, you'll have to draw on a mustache. I grew one out for the pandemic cause no one will see it. I'm still trying to get Craig to grow a mustache or a beard. No, that isn't going to happen. I don't feel comfortable with that stuff going on, to tell you the truth. First, Rich, I believe in taking classic designs and putting in classic/modern tailoring. No short jackets or skin tight, but still body flattering. I never had a girl complain about me in a suit. Triforce Rich is rocking the ladies. Rocking the ladies. There you go. The Mighty Rat, why do people buy the Milgauss for the anti-magnetism feature? I'm pondering that point whilst I live in the bath with my 300-meter rated Submariner on. I've never had a watch get magnetized, so I don't get the whole anti-magnetic thing. I've never had a problem with that, but maybe other people have. In 40 years, I've never had a problem with that with any of the Rolexes I had, so I don't know what the deal is with all that. Triforce Rich, I'm telling you, Dur, I had the stash, but had to shave it before a business call. And Tom's laughing. Williams Watch is laughing. What do you think about that? Okay. Triforce Rich, that sucks. I would have said screw it and just kept the stash, grow it back. Okay. Camping tonight, full gold GMT Master, but you hate big lugs. Well, do they, when you say a gold GMT Master, are you talking, do they even make it these days in yellow gold? I didn't even know they offered that anymore in a GMT. But yeah, I wouldn't want, on the Batgirl and the Pepsi, they did soften the lugs a little bit. So they look pretty good. If that watch was available with a Jubilee, if, for example, if a Batgirl was available in all gold, or a Pepsi was available in all gold, I think that'd be super cool, but I don't think they're available. And yellow gold for sure. I don't think they're available. Let me know in the chat if they are. You have to spend more time together. Okay. I had to look up Novak Dur. Funny. Okay. I don't even know who BJ Novak is. Anyone who thinks someone looks worse in a suit should not be consulted with for fashion advice. Cheatown, California. Oh, that was Lance's comment. Where is Lamont? I grew out a beard and then I just shaved it off. Life for me is complicated enough to not worry about facial hair grooming. Cheatown. Lamont got locked in his dad's SUV and he still can't figure out how to get out. Lance says, Craig, what do you think about the Rolex Gmt Rootbeer? Personally think that it's ugly. Yeah, it wouldn't be my first choice. I like the all-black GMT. I had one on a Jubilee. I like the Pepsi. I like the Coke. I had a Coke. I had a Coke on an oyster bracelet. Yeah, but no, I'm not a fan of the root beer. Dur's in the house. It's not the same without Lamont here. The full gold or two-tone root beer. Okay, both, says Lance. The new and old GMT root beer are pretty cool in my book. You'll like a massive douche if you can't pull off a modern one, though. Rose gold looks crappy on my skin, though, so no go for me. Yeah, I would pass on rose gold. I would never buy a rose gold watch. That would not be the way I would go. I would only buy yellow gold. See this? See this? Yellow gold stunner? Yellow gold stunner alert. I like them. I'd rather own a Pepsi or a Batgirl. I don't blame you. Okay, I think the root beer kind of looks like a rusty watch. Yes, the Rolex GMT all gold green dial is stunning. All gold green dial, is that one in yellow gold, Joey? I like the vintage root beer. Recent milestones of the channel. Craig falls from the horse and C's, GS Light, Lamont joins, Tri joins, Lance joins, William joins. Okay. Yeah, GS is the way to go. Absolutely. Cheetown says, Craig, what do you think if Rolex would release a steel ceramic Coke with fully brushed oyster links? Well, first of all, I'd rather have the Jubilee bracelet. A steel ceramic Coke. Yeah, I would not want the oyster bracelet. I would want the Jubilee on it. Yeah, that's the way I would go. When I think gold, I think yellow. Williams watches. Yeah. Joey says, yes, Craig, look at the Rolex website, GMT. Maybe we'll do that next show. I'm going to wrap this up. We've been going more than an hour and 20 minutes because we started early. We've been going about an hour and a half, and this thing has been doing fine. It's burning it out. So I'm going to wrap it up. We got a show tomorrow. Please, everybody, make sure to click subscribe. Be sure to click the bell because I want you to get the notification because we're going to have a show on Monday, part 2, with Girl Gone Crypto, and we're going to talk about whether or not you should buy a Rolex Submariner or one Bitcoin. What should you do? We're going to talk about that. We're going to take a deep dive into this. And Durr says, Craig, any word on when we're going to get some channel merchandise? Who was it that was doing that? Who was it that was going to do the channel merchandise? There was somebody in the chat that said they were going to take care of that. Who was it? Let's see if they dropped the ball. Yeah, the live shows have evolved since the daily shows started. Won't make the show tomorrow. Have fun, you guys. Triforce Rich is not going to make it tomorrow. And Cheetown says, later, fellas. All right. I think you have fixed the issue now, Craig. Seems like strong connection all the stream. I hope you're right. Thanks, everybody, for watching. Click subscribe and click the bell. Please click that bell.